come to your back, you lie down, and you begin to sense and feel your contact. And what's it like in this moment? We're always looking for, in this moment, what is it like? Is it similar? Different? What's different? Or where is it similar? That's the learning. The learning is when I come back to the floor to feel myself. This is part of our proprioceptiveness. Am I finding that, oh, it's those same aches and pains, shortening, discomfort that is so familiar, chronic? Or am I starting to find I have a different way that I'm finding more of that comfort? How did that happen? What is it that I start to find more of me in a favorable way? That if I were asked, well, where does something bother you? You might go, doesn't. I mean, not that there isn't places we could improve or begin to feel even easier or freer, but there isn't something that's really blatantly getting our attention, which is an indication of learning, assimilating, and integrating how you find your neutral. So you take the moment, tune into your breathing, and then let's come back into that mindset of these teleceptors. So the teleceptors are those sensory organs, your two eyes, your two nostrils, your two ears. Then there's your mouth. But there's an upper, we call it the maxilla portion of the jaw, and the lower. So again, one mouth, one tongue, but the functioning of the mouth has two parts. And as you rest here, just as a little bit of a precursor, more people are starting to join. And I like to bring people in sooner than later. Allow your eyes to just settle back into their sockets, the orbits of the eye. Behind them is a diaphragmatic muscle. I'm going to keep it very simplistic, like a little trampoline that the eye rests in, with visceral fluid that lubricates. And the ability to notice when you can just let your eyes settle back. Feel how that feels throughout your entire face. Your forehead, the brow, the eyes themselves, your cheeks. And then slowly, think about the nostrils where you're breathing. And I speak about the natural breath that breathes you, versus you're going to work at it. But there's always a moment, for one reason or another, where one nostril doesn't feel as open, as receiving of the oxygen. So what is it like when you're discerning a smell and you want to open those nostrils a little bit? There are muscles there. Feel what you do, as if there's something. Oh, it smells so nice. What is it for you? For me, I love the smell of gardenias, flowers. Certain foods that are being prepared. And just feel that access to how you can work with your nose. Think of bunny rabbits or my dogs. How they sniff. And when you think of that, and the breathing, do you notice anything that happens in the back of your neck, in your chest? In yesterday's lesson, I was sharing how there are little tubes, openings, grommets, foramen, they're different names, that go from the back of the nostrils down into the back of your throat. Can you get a sense of feeling when the breath comes through your nostrils? What happens at the back of the palatine? The little tongue, the uvula. You just feel that sense, as if the smell of something was guiding you. Now your ears. Quieting the ears to hear subtlety. And if you think about hearing something, and maybe one ear you hear better out of than the other, if that sound, and hopefully it's a pleasant sound or something that grabs your attention that's of interest, feel how you do something to listen better. What was that I heard? Does it move you? And how does that feel through your neck and into your spine? It's so subtle, but it's turning a light, shining a light, attention at what is already happening that we don't pay attention to. We're just doing stuff. And then, of course, we have the mouth. Yesterday was a lot of focus of the palatine, the dome of your mouth, the palate. Makes me think of a painter's palette. And one of the explorations was about painting from one side of the edge of the tooth meeting the gum up and over the dome, the palate, the palatine of your mouth to the other side, as if you were painting. How wide did the palate feel? How long, how deep? And we use our mouth for so many things. We use it for breathing, swallowing, eating, speaking, kissing, drinking. And we've played with lessons where we explore using the tongue and the mouth. Whether we take the tip of the tongue to one cheek, or circling it around as we did some yesterday, or examining the teeth. These are the teleceptors that I'm going to elucidate as we explore this lesson. Very slowly, bring yourself from your rest to sit, and sit with your hands behind you. So you're going to lean on them a little bit. Notice what you do with your legs. And if leaning in your hands is difficult, you can make fists. You can use supports. You're not going to be here long like this, but to begin. So if I said to you, could you begin to pivot your legs, sweeping them and swinging them in such a way that one leg is going to come, the foreleg, in front of you. And you're going to do something so that the other leg bends at the knee, sweeps back behind you. How would you do it? That's it. There, good. So most of you brought yourself into a side sitting position. Now, the reason why the lesson begins with lean on your hands is if I said, notice which foreleg you brought in front. Is it your right leg? Is it your left leg? What would you need to do to transition, to compare? Maybe you straighten your legs and reorganize them to side sit the opposite direction. Feel how you do it. Now, when you did this, you heard the directions, put your hands behind you. Where did you shift? Where did you lead? Is it with your pelvis, your knees? Is there an intention? What happened in your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears? Begin to explore this movement, but now use one of these teleceptors, that there's something that drew your attention, that made you transition from sitting the way you are now, use yourself, support yourself, and transition so that you switch over and change the legs the opposite direction. And with this slow, mindful play, notice which of the teleceptors, eyes, nose, ears, mouth, tongue, you're using and compare what's different. But it's the interest of something. Is it the smell of something that's so good that takes you in that direction? Is it hearing something that draws you there? What is that I heard? But you're switching from sitting, once from one side and then to the other. But you're using, for those who were not here yesterday, you're using the senses in your face, your head, either your eyes that lead you, your nose smelling something, your ears hearing something, your mouth reaching for something that guides you. And what's different in the movement now when you first did it? And is there a preference of which of the teleceptors, the sensory organs in your face, that make it simpler for you? Now, the lesson for today has you pretty much with one variation of side sitting. I don't know that I'm going to hold so much to it. Which is the side for you that you feel it's easier? It's easier. The side that you are side sitting to, you'll look at the front foreleg that's in front of you. That same side hand rests on the floor beside you. Even if you don't think you need it, it's going to rest there. So notice if you chose your side sitting to the right, which means it's the right leg in front of you, or your side sitting to the left leg in front of you. And unless you really have a bias or a preference, a concern, start with the right leg in front and the left leg back. It means that the left knee would house itself in the sole of the right foot. And then it would be the right hand that rests on the floor, whether it's the full hand, whether it's a fist, whether you feel you need to have some support so that it takes any real pressure off of the hand. And you sit there. Now, as you sit here, pay attention to your pelvis. And where is the weight in your pelvis? Is it more to the right sitting bone? Is it more to the left? Is it sort of smack dab in the middle? You just notice. And what is the relationship of your right knee with the floor compared to your left? Is one of those knees firmly resting on the floor? Now, begin to take your left hand and bring your left hand elegantly, smoothly out in front of you as if you're going to reach for something. That's it. So in front of you means not to the floor, that is in front, but it's down, forward in front. And then bend your left elbow and bring your forearm to replicate the horizontal line of your foreleg in front. But the elbow will be more in the relationship of where your right foot is. The forearm will be similar to the right foreleg, and then let your wrist just hang. Okay, so so let me clarify, it's not clear. The right hand rests on the floor beside you. The left arm came in front of you. Then you bent the left arm at the elbow so that the left forearm is sort of parallel to your right foreleg. There you go. There you go. And then just let your wrist hang like you're a ballerina. Now, if this becomes difficult for you, how would you modify? I've worked with many people that have real issues. Yeah, Rita's just showing. If you can place your left hand to rest on your right chest, that's a possibility. All right? You can just sort of let it rest if it becomes difficult. And if it's really difficult to play this variation with the left arm in the air, like a wing hanging, then modify. Slowly come away from this and just rest. So I'm sharing the position. I broke it down. There are people that do not know if I call this dead bird position. Some of you do know, but others don't. So it's more important to clarify what the position of the lesson is and why it took on that name. Practitioners created that name. So come back into the position. Or you imagine and you rest. Now slowly, with your eyes opened, but don't do your best. Begin to use one of your sensory teleceptors and have it guide you to rotate around yourself to look or see, hear, or reach for something, smell something that is a little bit more to the right or where you can go easy. And the arm follows your torso. You are pivoting around yourself. Just go where it's easy and then come back. Listen as you do this how you breathe. Maybe you initiate by exhaling. You begin to pivot around yourself. You go where it's easy. And then you come back. Anytime you need to rest from this, you rest. And the arm is being carried. Do you notice as you do this that your right shoulder is going back as your left shoulder is coming forward? And to which side of your pelvis do you start to pivot? Does one sitting bone or buttocks move away from the floor, but the other one comes more towards the floor? And now the next time you do it, close your eyes. You can still use the eyes if that was the teleceptor you were choosing, or maybe you choose another one. Is it different when you close your eyes compared to when you had your eyes open? Now, the next time with your eyes closed, you pivot to your right. You stay there, but it needs to be really comfortable. And then you open your eyes and you fixate on some place. Where is your point of your nose, the tip of your nose? Where are your eyes looking? And you see, where is it? And then you come away from that and lie on your back and rest. And you notice your contact. What's the difference in your sides? The contact you make. And then return to sitting and move into that right side sitting position. So I see that one is sitting left side sitting from what I suspect, and that's fine as long as you know you're doing it. You'll reverse the directions, okay? Now, right side sitting means the right foreleg is in front, horizontal. The left foreleg is back, perpendicular. And you lean on the right hand. The right hand can move, it can pivot. How heavy do you lean into it? And bring your left arm back into, we'll call it this wing that just, it's like, oh, could you even imagine that there's a ledge that your arm is just resting on effortlessly? And the wrist is just hanging over that ledge. So it's as if it's resting. You don't even have to hold it there. And slowly, this time, as you go ahead and rotate and stay wherever you rotate to where it's easy. Just stay there. And now wherever it was, you've rotated to, it's easy. You're rotating to the right. So there's one person I'm looking at, and I'm, okay, there, okay, good, good. You stay there. Now once you stay there, simply begin to take your eyes, your head down, and then up. So you're creating a folding and an opening. And feel, is it just in your eyes, your head? But feel how you can move. Is your left arm moving with you, or can it still be remaining on that ledge? Begin to notice where you explore. Good. And then stop doing that exploration. Rotate yourself back to the front. Lengthen your arm to rest. And then bring the arm back up. Keep your head forward. Your eyes stay forward. Your head stays forward. But rotate everything else to the right. No. Eyes and head stay forward. And then come back. So I'm creating a constraint. Your eyes and your head stay forward. Your head will do something as you begin to rotate your chest, your pelvis around your head. But do you shrink? Can you keep thinking that a practitioner has you by your skull and is lifting you while it stays forward? And you only rotate as far as you can. Your left arm, the right shoulder will go back, your sternum will shift. That's it. And then you come back. So you do less instead of more once you start to notice, but it's really deforming the direction of my head. You just do less. You just go when you feel, oh, now my head's going to do this little side bending because I'm rotating. That's enough. You stay there. That's it. And you come back. You're differentiating. And notice if your eyes got a little stiff. Your jaw, your tongue. Maybe as you do this, do you take a tongue into a cheek? Do you want to take it to the right cheek or the left cheek? How would it help facilitate the head staying constrained? But does the head shrink and get short, or does the head get taller? The spine get longer, that you can rotate around. Good. Put your arm down and just rest a moment. And each one of you are going to need to rest as you need to. Throughout this lesson, it is not just suggested, it is said over and over again. Once you've done it, can you do it less? Smaller? You never tap into the limit. And if sitting like this is difficult, maybe you want to use a little pad underneath your pelvis, you could always sit in a chair. Come back to the position. And now this time, same position to the right, left arm is in front, the wing. Can you imagine it's just resting on a ledge? And if it's more parallel to the ground, there'll be less weight. You just feel when it gets really tired, put it down. As you rotate yourself to your right, now this time have your head and eyes look to the left. So head and eyes want to go to the left as if you want to look over your left shoulder as you rotate to the right, and you come back. You do the movement, you feel where it's allowed, and then you come back. You are differentiating. You did the differentiation as a first approximation when we kept your head in the center. Now we're actually taking the head not just in the center, but more to the opposite side. Feel where you feel the twist. And are you thinking of a specific teleceptor? Your eyes? Are you thinking that the eyes go to the left? Are you thinking, there's something I smell over there that smells so good? What changes when you use a different teleceptor, meaning a sensory organ in your face? Is it your ear? Oh, I heard something there. Is it a chirping of a bird? Make it something that you like, because it changes the intention, the emotion. Good. And then come back to the neutral. Put your arm down and just pause for a moment. And come back into the position. There'll be times I give you a longer rest. If you need the rest, you take it. That's this thing in Feldenkrais. We don't need to always tell you, or do we? And come back into the position. And now you're going to rotate to the right, but you're going to have your head go to the left while your eyes go to the right. So you can have your eyes look at your left hand or your left thumb. If the hand is down, lift it up, or else your whole head's going to go down. But now your eyes follow your left hand to the right as your head turns to the left. Another higher level of a differentiation. Yeah. And when you feel I hit the limit, don't push to go further. Where it's easy, as if you could just go back and forth a little faster, but never go tapping into like any tension. Just how do you coordinate your eyes and your head when they're going in the opposite direction? And Groucho Marx was so good at this. Good. That's it. Feel where you pivot. Where do you rotate? Do you get long? Do you get short? Good. Put your arm down as you come to sit in the center in this position. Just a moment, unless you have to move out of it. And then bring your arm back up. Close your eyes. And just follow with your eyes closed. I don't care which organ it is. Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears. Rotate yourself with your eyes closed around to your right. Feel that you could get taller and longer. Stay there. Open your eyes. Did you get another degree or two of rotation from that first marking you did in the beginning? Come back, lie on your back and rest. Did anybody not get an improvement in their rotation? Just put a hand up if you, or a thumbs down. So I don't have that from anybody. You all sensed something. So of course, when your arm gets tired, what do you listen to? The directions of what you're supposed to do in the theme of the lesson? Or you go, my arm's tired. I was teaching once at a massage school in Essex, and one of the massage students had a really bad time with her arm. It was a lot of stuff going on. And because it was a massage school, we had wheelies. We had the stools on wheels. And so I had her rest her arm on the stool. And so she could move the stool as she rotated, and the arm was resting constantly. She didn't have to hold it. Well, you might not have the stool or something like that, but think about what you might have, or how you could rest your arm on your chest, or maybe it just rests on the thigh. But what was happening in the shoulder of the left arm? Can you remember what that was doing? I remember one person actually took a hold of their chin so that they were always holding the chin. And you think about it. How many times have we held an ice cream cone? Oh, we didn't drop our arm or wrist because of the ice cream cone was so heavy our arm hurt. It was no problem. Notice your contact. You've been rotating to the right, rotating to the right. So what do you notice? Is there a difference between the right side and the left side? Is there a difference when you rotate with your eyes open or closed? And come back to the position, again, right side sitting. Now this time, look at your hand. If you don't have it there, imagine something directly in front of you that you would be looking at, as if your hand really were there. Oh, you could imagine, oh, I want to bring that ice cream cone to my mouth or that apple to take a bite. And if it's difficult for your arm to rest there, you can let the elbow hang a little bit. Or just imagine it. And now stay here, but take your eyes to the right and then back through the middle and to the left. Your eyes. You're in the position. It's your eyes. Your eyes to the right and to the left. And begin to notice it's just your eyes you're moving. But do the rest of you start to feel like, oh, I feel something as a result of my eyes. And listen to the eyes. Are they smooth? Are they even? Does one side you take your eyes, they go up and the other one go down? Or do they just stay horizontal? And then close your eyes and now think of your nose. You smell something to the right and then to the left. And you're moving the teleceptor. But it's the nose. It's the nose. You keep everything else relatively quiet. Just feel where the nose would take you, but that's it. And then take the nose to the opposite direction. And some are doing it bigger, others are doing it smaller. Notice what you feel in your pelvis, especially if you're doing it smaller. If it's bigger, of course you'll notice there's a shift of weight in my pelvis. But if you did it almost negligible, can you still feel the shift happening? And then rest your arm, but stay seated, unless you need to lie down. Now this time, place your left arm over the crown of your head to hold your right temple or ear. And the right arm is on the floor to support you. And now very slowly, begin to take your left hand, holding the right temple or ear, and begin to draw your head so that your left ear wants to follow your left shoulder down. Your left elbow will arc in space. That's it. Feel what you do in your right hand. What do you do in your pelvis? And then bring the head back to the neutral. And then suggest that your right ear could go towards the right shoulder, as if you want to take your left elbow more arcing towards the ceiling. That's it. And continue that movement. If it's easier for you to have your hand flat on top of the crown of your head, so in one direction it's going to push to roll your head, the right ear more towards the right shoulder, and then it wants to pull your head a little bit more the left ear towards the left shoulder. Feel what's happening through your spine and your pelvis. Maybe you notice in one of those directions, one knee wants to go closer to the floor and then it lifts a little bit. Go slow. Go slow. That's it. And when you shift the weight so that your right ear is going towards your right shoulder, could you transfer your weight onto the left buttocks, the left sitting bone? And when you shift the weight so that your left ear wants to go to your left shoulder, could you put more weight on your right sitting bone? Is that what you were doing? Some of you were. Some of you were not. That's it. Good. Put your left arm down. Just pause for a minute. And once more, come into this right side sitting position with your left arm, whether it's going to be in front of you, hanging as if you imagined it's just resting on a ledge. Just feel, and when it gets too tired, feel what you need to do. And go ahead, close your eyes, and rotate around to your right, and stay there. But the right hand needs to be on the floor to support you, even if you don't think you need it. Use it. Then stay there where you've rotated. Keep everything there. And now go ahead, put your left hand back over the crown of your head and push it a little bit so that your right ear goes towards your right shoulder, and then pull the head a little bit so your left ear goes towards your left shoulder. Remember, when the right ear goes to the right shoulder, could you transfer your weight back onto the left sitting bone? As you bring the head into the neutral in this biased rotation, you let the pelvis settle in the middle, and then as you take your head so that the left ear goes towards the left shoulder, you're transferring the weight to your right sitting bone, where you've rotated. And then you do less when you need to do less. If doing more is difficult, you do less. That's it. Now bring your hand back in front of you, your left hand back in front of you. Rotate back to the center. Close your eyes. Listen with your ears. Smell with your nose. Through closed eyes. Rotate. Rotate around your right. Rotating, getting tall, tall, tall. Stay there. Once you get to where it's easy, and then open your eyes. Did you get another degree of rotation? Come back to the middle. Pause and rest. So for those of you that know the dead bird lesson, you're now recognizing how many different variations on a theme. This one comes from Elizabeth Barringer back in the late 80s when she was teaching for Anat Banyel in a Feldenkrais training. This is one variation. I've done some of them. This one I hadn't done before. And come back to the right side sitting position. Now, here's a question I'm asking, and maybe later if you hang, you want to share. Is there a specific teleceptor, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, your tongue, that is starting to awaken that makes it easier for you? That's what you want to learn, because that's your guide. Then you help develop the skills of another one that isn't as clear. Come back into the position. Rotate yourself to the right. When you get to that comfortable place you can hang, put your left hand on the floor near your right, but so that there's a space between them. Maybe the right hand is closer to the thigh, hip, and the left hand is closer towards the knee, but where you can put the hands and really rest them on the floor. Now keep the elbows straight. And slowly bow as if you wanted to lower your head in between your arms, but the elbows don't bend. So what do the hands have to do to allow that? And to which sitting bone do you go? And then come forward and look up as if your mouth could open. And if you're going to stick your tongue out, would you want to stick your tongue to your chin or your tip of your nose? Which would make it easier? Go back as if you wanted to bow and bring your, I don't know, is it your chin, your nose, your forehead, the crown of your head, as if it wants to come to the floor between your two arms? Push into the arms. No, 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 no. Push into the arms. Elbows stay straight so that it can push you back onto the left sitting bone. And then, as you bow the head, let the chest soften. And then reverse it. And as you reverse, Bring the head up, the elbows stay straight. You move towards the right sitting bone and your chest comes forward. Your back will become potent. And go back and forth this way. You're doing a little seesaw in your pelvis. If the elbows bend, you are no longer allowing the movement to go into your spine. And some of you might notice, my goodness, my right knee, when I go back to the left sitting bone, wants to rise away from the floor. That's it. That's it. And then go ahead, stay in that position in a more neutral place where your eyes are looking forward. Maybe place your left hand, if you can, comfortably back in the air like that wing, or rest it on your right shoulder where it's available. Close your eyes. Just slowly take your eyes a little to the right, a little to the left, a little to the right, a little to the left. Then take your head a little to the right, a little to the left, a little to the right, a little to the left. And then the next time, think that you want to reach with your left arm around you, because around you there's that tree that you want to pluck that apple off of. And then open your eyes. Did you get more rotation? Come back, lie on your back, and rest. Many times when we play with this theme, we're playing with it in such a way that we're just following the directions. However, we are human beings and we have desires for things. So why do we take that out? What would you be reaching for? What would you be rotating to look at or to hear? And if you feel that, wow, that tapped in a little bit to the extensor muscles that need to quiet, I saw some lovely ways of attending to yourself. It's not that things don't activate. When they do, so quickly, how do you quiet them down? Say, calm down. Maybe that would just be a wonderful indication, as we're going to explore a little on the left, to do so much less. But it's easy to tap into more because it just starts to evolve and happen. Very slowly, feeling whatever has changed, the difference between your right side and the left. Come to sit, left side sitting. So you're reversing it now. You will lean on the left hand. If it is difficult to have the right arm in this position, let it rest in your lap. If you've got a shirt where you've got buttonholes where you can insert the thumb to like sling it, you do that. I'm giving suggestions, but you figure out for yourself. And now very slowly, feel the difference sitting here. And where you place your left hand on the floor to support you makes a difference. So you might want to play. If you think that it's just a support in cement and it can't move, think about that it does move. It could sweep too. And right here, slowly, just take your left shoulder back and your right shoulder forward. Keep looking forward. Take the left shoulder back and the right shoulder forward. That's it. Just keep playing with that. But you look forward. And now play with it so easy that you start to make a little oscillation. You do it smaller but faster. Like a little bloop, 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 bloop. That's it, that's it. Slow and easy. Slow meaning, I asked a little oscillation faster, but your intention is as you're going faster, you're really thinking slow motion. It's like some of the great athletes, they put themselves in that place of slow motion, even though they're thinking of sprinting. So that they can slow it down to feel where I can do less, where I can make it more that oscillation, that little bloop, 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 bloop. And then put your arm down and just rest in this position. Now, place both arms so that your left hand will be to the left knee, but more at the base where the thigh is. and your right hand will be on the floor in front of the left knee. So it's as if you are putting your hands around, that's it. And now slowly, begin to bow your head as if you wanted to kiss your left knee. And then you come back up. Now again, don't lock the elbows, but keep the elbows straight, because the elbows will want to help you as the hands push into the floor. And where does the pelvis want to go if you want to bring your head in the direction as if it wanted to blow a kiss to your left knee? And then you come back up. And you play with that a little bit. And if you wanted to play with one of your teleceptors, in one of these directions, when you bow your head down or you lift your head up, where would you direct your tongue? Would your tongue want to go to the tip of your nose or the chin? Or would it want to stay within the mouth and travel down the center of the palatine to the little tongue, the uvula? Or would the tongue want to slide to the back of your teeth? Some of you weren't in the lesson yesterday, so this might not make sense. Where could you soften your chest when you want to go in the direction of your knee to kiss? The spine, think of going back into that back sitting bone, the right sitting bone. The spine will get round the spine, sternum, round, round, round. Who am I speaking to? Who am I speaking to? Better, better. That's it. Good. And now come back up. Still lean on the left hand to the side. And now just rest your right hand wherever it's comfortable, whether it's on you or on the floor. And now, in this position, turn your head to look, turn the shoulders, turn you to look over towards the left, rotating to the left. And then as you come back, rotate in this position to look over your right shoulder. And do that. And feel how your pelvis will move, your knees, your chest. That's it. That's it. Beautiful. And then go ahead and bring your right arm forward in this position of, often referred to as the dead bird wing. I don't know why. Close your eyes and go ahead and rotate around to your left. Once you've gone where it's easy, stay there. Put the right arm down on the floor wherever it wants to be. It'll probably be aligned with your left hand parallel-ish. And from there, go ahead and round and fold yourself. As you fold, the elbows straighten, the hands push, rock back into your right sitting bone, and then come forward. And every time you come forward to look up, look a little bit more to the left. That's it. And every time you round and go down, think you're looking a little bit more towards your right hand and feel you go back onto your right sitting bone. And every time you come up, think you want to look a little bit more over the left hand in that direction. That's it. Lovely. Back and forth. Good. And then the next time you come up, close your eyes, where you are, put the right hand in front of you like dead bird, and then a little bit, rotate a little bit like that little oscillation to the left, the right, the left, the right, the left, the right, where it's really easy, lubricating, oiling. Bloop, 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 bloop. Then slowly stop that, rotate a little bit more to the left, open your eyes. Where are you looking? And then come back, lie on your back, and rest. Notice your contact. are some of the variations that we explore in this theme of rotating the spine in a seated position. And what do you notice? Go back into those teleceptors, your eyes sinking back into the skull, into the diaphragmatic muscle. Notice if they feel different. Your nostrils, as if there was something that smelled so good. We do something with our nostrils to help open them to Take the tip of your tongue and find where it can meet in the upper teeth, the front teeth, and begin to follow the dome of the palatine of your mouth as far back. Feel what happens in your throat, your tongue. And then you bring it forward. And as if you had just eaten something that was so good and you're using the tip of your tongue, whether it's circling the teeth on the area, the front of the teeth between the lips and the gums, whether it's the feeling of, oh, there's a little sesame seed stuck there. Move your tongue around your mouth and feel. Can you be soft? Feel that sensation in your neck that allows. And then your ears, as if the ears were hearing something, and that drew your head to turn, to roll in that direction. Do those feel a little different than in the beginning of the lesson? And then very slowly, think of this lesson of side sitting. How would you organize yourself to roll by way of one side, that is the side you would wind up sitting in a side sitting position? Imagining which of your organs in your head are going to lead, and roll by way of one side that you will eventually come to side sit in.